In lesson 3.4, we're looking at using mental math to estimate and solve equations. Hopefully you remember your properties that we talked about from chapter 1. But if not, we'll do a little bit of a review of some of these key vocabulary terms that you'll definitely need to use as you mentally answer some of these problems. So the identity property. The identity property is the sum of 0 and any number is that number. And so when we look at it in a arithmetic using numbers kind of equation, 0 plus 9 is 9. But if we used it in algebraic, 0 plus a, our variable, is just going to be a. And the identity property for multiplication, the product of 1 and any number, is that number. We didn't change the identity of the number we're working with. So 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 times a is a. Then we look at our commutative property. Remember, this is kind of like our order property, changing the order of the add-ins. Those are the numbers that we're adding together, or factors, the numbers we're multiplying together, does not change the sum or the product. So 9 plus 6 is just like saying 6 plus 9. Or 9 times 6 is just like saying 6 times 9. In algebraic, to say a plus b is just like saying b plus a. And a times b is just like saying b times a. And our associative property, this is also known as the grouping property. So changing the grouping of numbers does not change the sum or the product. So 9 plus, and the 6 plus 4 is in the parentheses, so that is its group. So it's just like saying, well, if I put in parentheses 9 plus 6 in parentheses, and then say plus 4, I'm not going to change the answer. I'm still going to get 19 no matter how I solve this problem. If I'm adding 6 plus 4 first, get 10, and then add 9 and get 19, or 9 plus 6 and get 15, and then add 4, I get 19. And the same idea goes with our multiplication. 9 times, and then in parentheses, 6 times 4 could just be the same as in parentheses, 9 times 6. Let me write that so that multiplication sign looks like it's actually part of it, not a decimal. So we have 9 times 6 is just like saying, or 9 times 6 plus 4 in parentheses is just like saying in parentheses 9 times 6 times 4, which is outside of it. And in algebraic terms, we could just say a plus b plus c would be like saying, well, a plus b plus c. And a times in parentheses b times c would be just like saying, well, in parentheses a times b, ab, and parentheses times c, which is outside of it. Now, some of our new terminology that we'll also use. An equation, we've talked about this, is in a mathematical sentence that has an equal sign. An equation, equi, means equal, so it has an equal sign. An open sentence is an equation, so again, it's a sentence that has an equal sign, but this is one that has one or more variables. And then a solution of an equation is the value of the variable that makes the equation true. So to make it true, it's a solution, you solve it. So now let's look at an example. Is the equation 24 minus 16 equals 8, true or false? So to evaluate it, I'd say, well, I first write it down and subtract 16 from 24. So 24 minus 16, I do get 8, and since 8 is equal to 8, the equation is true. And the little question mark, right, what you see right here, it may be a little hard to see. It's like an equal sign with, or a question mark with an equal sign underneath it. It just, kind of its symbol of saying, is this true or not? So, if it's equal, you'd write equal. If it's not equal, you'd write an equal sign with your slash through it. I mean, it's not congruent, or it's not equal. All right, let's look at our second example. Using mental math to solve each equation. So y minus 7 equals 15. So what do you know? Well, I know that 22 minus 7 is 15. So the solution must be 22. The other way to think about this, to solve, I'm going to add 7 to get rid of it from that side, and that means I have to add 7 to this side. And so 15 plus 7 is 22. That would be what I am putting in my box. But you have to do this mentally. Alright, d divided by 9 equals 6. Well, we can think about it. Well, our multiples of 9 and 6, 9 times 6 is 54. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So 54 divided by 9 is 6. So the solution would be 54. Alright, using guess and check and revise. So guess and check, and if it's not right, then you revise it. You go back and fix. If it's correct, then you don't go back. You just keep moving on. So we're going to estimate. We're going to round. So rounding numbers get a good starting point, using compatible numbers to make it easier. So n plus 14 equals 42. Well, 14 and 42, we can add those together, or we can actually subtract them, but when we do that with zeros in the end, 40 and 10, it makes it a little bit easier. So using mental math, we know that 30 plus 10 is 40, so n is close to 30. And I can try subtracting n, which is 30, in the equation, and say that 30, or substituting, not subtracting, I'm sorry, substituting n equals 30 in the equation, so 30 plus 14 is going to give me 44. So the number 44 is going to be too high. I will try n, because 44 is greater than 42. So I'll try, a compatible number that's less than that, 25, nice and easy to work with a 5. So 25 plus 14, I get 39. Well, I know that 39 is less than 42, so the number 25 is too low. So trying 28, kind of right there in the middle, 28 plus 14 is 42. And since 28 plus 14 is 42, that must mean that that is true. So the solution of n plus 14 equals 42 is 28. That would be, if you're trying to do this in a mental math way, using guess and check. Alright, now, your turn to try, and I'll check back here in a second. Alright. Tell whether each equation is true or false. So 7 times 9 is 63. We know our facts, so that is true. 7 times 9 is 63. And 4 plus 5 equals 45. No, that is false. 4 plus 5 is 9. You may make the careless mistake of saying, well, you sandwich those together and get 45. That is not true. 4 plus 5 is 9. 70 minus 39 is 41. So we can try to figure that, and that is false. Mental math to solve each equation. So 17 minus x is 8. Well, I know that if I subtracted 8 from 17, I'm going to get 9. So x equals 9. And w divided by 4 equals 20. And so if I use the opposite of division, multiply 4 and 20, well, w is going to equal 80. And 4.7 plus c equals 5.9. Well, c is going to equal 1.2. And then using the strategy of guess and check and revise to solve for k plus 39 equals 82. Well, I'm going to take my 82 and I'm going to subtract 39 from it. And I have to borrow, so that's a 7, that's 12. 12 minus 9 is 3, and 7 minus 3 is 4. So we know that k is going to equal 43. Most of the time it's going to be much easier to, just work it out, not trying to go back and forth and mentally with some of these other numbers. But that is the end of 3.4.